Yes, to some people in this town, 7 o'clock Thursday night in an ordinary week, every week is mighty important. For this is the time that the aviation-minded citizens of this community have set aside for their weekly Civil Air Patrol Squadron meetings as part of the national CAP program to help build American aviation. Key element in this program is the training of American youth, boys and girls between the ages of 15 and 17, future citizens of the air age. For new members of the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Corps, the training usually begins with a bit of history.
Cadets, may I have your attention, please? If it won't make you think we senior members of CAP are a bunch of museum pieces, I'd like to tell you how CAP got started. Actually, long before World War II, America's civilian airmen were organizing unofficially to make available to the nation, in case of emergency, their flying ability and their planes. Then, exactly 6 days before Pearl Harbor, Civil Air Patrol became an official organization. At first, we were under the Office of Civilian Defense. Later, the War Department. CAP members who were not in the armed services flew the coastline from Maine to Mexico, hunting Nazi U-boats. Of course, our job was to spot them and report their location. Often, we sighted ships in distress, located survivors, and sometimes even took part in their rescue. Many of us flew courier and cargo missions. All in all, the CAP turned in a pretty impressive war record.
As a matter of fact, when the war ended, Congress, recognizing the important peacetime services CAP could render, specifically chartered the Civil Air Patrol to aid in the development of aviation and maintenance of air supremacy, to provide aviation education and training, and to assist in meeting emergencies. A short time later, by act of Congress, Civil Air Patrol was made an official auxiliary of the United States Air Force. To assist in every way possible in the organization and administration of Civil Air Patrol, Air Force officers are specifically assigned to each of the 52 CAP wings. The United States Air Force provides some equipment, aircraft, oil, and gasoline for carrying out specific missions. It also provides the training aids for the CAP education program. Actual instruction is carried out by senior members of Civil Air Patrol, busy civilians of varied occupations and professions, air-minded citizens filled with enough aeronautical know-how to class them as experts in many phases of aviation. These senior CAP members gladly and voluntarily contribute their time, their energy, and their knowledge, so that youthful CAP cadet students will learn all about aviation and enjoy every minute of it. Classes are held in hundreds of towns and cities throughout the continental United States and in Hawaii, Alaska, and Puerto Rico. They meet in schools, armories, airport hangars, whatever place is available and convenient. Many schools, in adding aviation instruction to their curricula, have incorporated the CAP cadet training course into their regular schedules as a credit subject. They use the same basic CAP study manual as do the extracurricular volunteer classes. To capture youthful interest in the importance of aviation to 20th century society, cadets are shown how the airplane serves the community, the nation, and the world.
We get right down to brass tacks, because the important thing is that we learn to really know airplanes. And we do exactly that. We learn the parts of every airplane by name and shape. Of course, there are always some cadets who think they know all the answers.
The empennage or tail assembly includes a horizontal stabilizer to prevent nose pitching, elevators to control the angle of attack, the vertical...
I guess she's got a right to her opinion. Anyway, we all learn a lot. Often new senior members of Civil Air Patrol sit in on our courses. Our veterans come to brush up a bit. Oh, we really dig into this deal pretty solid. We take up such subjects as the mathematics of aviation, the physics and engineering of flight, the science of meteorology, and the new airman's geography. Whenever possible, our instructors use what they call training aids. Make things a lot more interesting than just learning from the book. For example, we have engines that are cut away so we can look inside and watch to see exactly how they work. And if we still don't understand something, we can ask questions and get the right answers then and there. We also have working models of many other airplane mechanisms. Of course, every squadron doesn't have all this equipment, but all of us have enough training aids to make the course really exciting. No, we don't get actual flight instruction, but each of us gets a crack at working the Link trainer. That's sort of a make-believe airplane that all the regular pilots use to check on how well they fly. We all get a chance to practice handling the controls. Oh, it sure feels like flying a real airplane.
Yes, cadets enjoy their activities, but they also realize that their membership implies a serious responsibility to learn, to make the most of the opportunities given them by Civil Air Patrol and the United States Air Force. When they first come in contact with a complex subject like communications, they may falter a bit. But within a fairly short time, most of them are sending and receiving code almost as well as the instructors. To keep radio messages from being garbled on the airwaves, cadets learn a new set of ABCs, the phonetic alphabet.
A for Abel, B for Baker, C for Charlie, D for dog, E for easy.
The CAP cadet course also covers a different kind of ABCs, the basic and most valuable aspects of military life, military bearing and courtesy, and how to function effectively as a disciplined part of a tight-knit cooperative organization. Cadet drill teams throughout the country vie eagerly for national honors because each year the winning team participates in an international drill competition with the Canadian Air Cadet League. Typical tool of the air age approach to international understanding is the International Air Cadet Exchange Program. Each year, several groups of cadets, selected on the basis of merit, are sent to various European countries as youthful air age ambassadors of goodwill to observe at first hand various phases of foreign aviation. Similarly, groups of air cadets from England, France, Switzerland, and other countries visit the United States. Throughout the year, all cadets are taken on weekend trips to nearby civilian airports. Interested parents frequently come along. Cadets are given an opportunity to go aloft as passengers on orientation flights with experienced CAP licensed pilots. Most planes used are privately owned by CAP members. Cadets study in action the fundamentals of air traffic control, the theory of which they learn in class. They see and hear how modern traffic control methods safely direct the landing and takeoff of numerous planes and keep strict control of the traffic pattern. Similarly, at the weather station, cadets see applied in practice the meteorological principles they previously covered in class. At every step of the course, theory and practice are blended to make for effective instruction and experience. Every summer brings another annual highlight of the cadet program, a 2-week summer encampment at various Air Force bases throughout the country. Every cadet participates in this required activity, which supplements their year-round training with intensive practical experience. Cadets live in military quarters and observe strict military discipline.
This goes for us girls, too. We live in the same type of barracks, and our course of instruction covers just about the same ground. We cadets see for ourselves how a United States Air Force base operates. We observe, and sometimes we even do some work in the base repair and maintenance shops. Expert Air Force personnel take time out to instruct us in various phases of aviation in which each base specializes. You can be sure we don't miss a trick, because we want to learn everything we can. And everything is just what we get, even learning how the Air Force would handle a serious crash. In addition to ground instruction, we cadets also go up on frequent flights in standard Air Force planes. Up in the air, some of the cadets take turns sitting in the co-pilot's seat. During the flight, we practice air observation and listen in on air communications. The fun side of things isn't neglected either. There's time off for athletics and a pleasant round of supervised social activities. Some of us sightseers are given the opportunity to take trips to nearby points of interest. I know one thing. By the time we cadets return home, we've had one of the fullest 2 weeks in our lives. It's pretty exciting for our parents, too, seeing us come and go by Air Force planes.
To many parents, bidding welcome home to their cadet sons and daughters is not a new experience. For every cadet must participate in 2 summer encampments to qualify for the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Certificate. The certificate which says in effect, this cadet is now a real citizen of the air age, well equipped to meet the challenging future open to ambitious young men and women, better prepared to make the most of the many fruitful careers available in our air-minded civilization, and fully trained to join the Senior Civil Air Patrol in carrying out the other important phases of its missions. In many areas, CAP is cooperating with forestry officials by flying special patrols over valuable timber tracts. From the air, an untended fire can be quickly spotted and reported to the nearest Forest Service headquarters. And when disaster strikes, when fires, blizzards, or floods threaten whole areas, Civil Air Patrol is ready to go into action at a moment's notice. Then there are individual emergencies, when an experienced pilot and his plane can spell the difference between life and death. Of particular importance in such emergencies is the CAP National Radio Network, linking over 6,000 stations operating on 17 wavelengths in continental United States, Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. So comprehensive is this CAP network, manned by more than 20,000 volunteers, that it practically guarantees national communications even if all other channels were cut off. Many a successful rescue mission can be credited to CAP operators who kept communication lines open when disaster struck. Stations are located practically everywhere. In wing headquarters, on airfields, in planes, in automobiles, in private homes and garages, and in CAP communications offices. Most installations have their own power plants and could continue functioning even if normal power lines were disrupted. To be ready for any emergency, they and all Civil Air Patrol personnel conduct frequent maneuvers.
Operation Flood is commencing. All personnel report to the airfield at once.
Repeat. Operation Flood is commencing. All personnel report to the airfield at once.
airfield. Plans are in the making. Sections of the maneuver area, presumed to be flooded, are marked off to be patrolled by planes available, and personnel at the plotting board prepare to keep track of every phase of the operation. Pilots are quickly briefed on their assignments, while mechanics prepare their ships for takeoff. Some planes carry food or medicine to be dropped to areas presumed to be inaccessible except by plane. Other pilots take along cadet observers to search out supposedly imperiled houses and direct rescuers to the threatened points. Cadets and seniors are assigned to ground patrol on bridges and high points. They practice spotting impending danger while there is still time for rescue.
Water's rising rapidly west of Hawthorne Road near James Crossing. Immediate motorboat evacuation imperative, over.
Such messages are quickly relayed to other organizations who would normally cooperate in rescue work. And CAP personnel coordinate all the complex, interrelated aspects of the maneuver. Today, it's a maneuver. Tomorrow, lives may be at stake. And today's cadets will be the senior men and women of tomorrow's Civil Air Patrol, teaching new cadets the aviation techniques that will enable them to join in rendering service whenever and wherever their community and country require it. For the United States Air Force looks to its official auxiliary, the Civil Air Patrol, to teach and practice today the air-mindedness and air knowledge upon which depends the strength of the entire nation and the peace of all the citizens of the world of tomorrow.